a familiar setup, much more commentary, and lots of punk pop vibes. Coming up next on BandLab Plus Coffee. To the left!
Let the music unlock your heart. It's time to collaborate. You're part of the family.
It's time to wake up, wind up, and cue up with another excellent BandLab track.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on BandLab Plus Coffee. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas. And I gotta say, while I understand 'tis the season to be jolly, which I completely believe, I love Christmas wholeheartedly, don't forget, there may be a loved one in your life who is suffering right now, especially during the holiday season. And they're not quite sure how to handle the fact that everyone around them is just saying, be happier. Check on those people, all right? It's our job to be kind, even when we don't want to. Now, it's time to wake up. It's Christmas. I'm bringing you one of my own tracks today, my Christmas track that I released this year. Super proud of it. Love the fact that it features the Tatious kiddos. I have a son and a daughter whom both love music. They very much enjoy watching their dad and mom lead music, what we call worship at church. And they love to sing, and anything just remotely related to music, they are on board. So it was an honor that they wanted to be part of this. It was a real journey for me to be at a position in my music creation journey to be able to incorporate them in a way that sounds correct. I could have never done that 4 years ago. So here is the culmination of my punk pop knowledge over my BandLab years. I present to you Wake Up, It's Christmas by DJ Tatious, featuring the Tatious kiddos. Let's take a listen.
Wake up, it's Christmas.
Immediate filter, punk pop vibes. You know why? Because we want to explode on the scene.
Let's make it a day they're gonna talk about. For the rest, the year ain't gonna be no doubt.
Every Christmas song needs jingle bells. Sorry, it's true.
Turning upside down presents under the tree. Oh, I'll miss you. Scout Alfalfa.
Scout Alfalfa. That's our elf on the shelf.
Wake up, it's Christmas. Wake up, don't wanna miss this. Running down the stairs, don't really ever care. Wake up, it's Christmas.
You can always find my lyrics when you come check out my tracks. You hear that driving kick? Right there with the jingle bells. So you got the Christmassy jingle bells and the punky driving kick. This pre-chorus has this really great idea from Glass Garden. He's like, hey, if you want to make it more punk, make the pre-chorus have tom fills. So I did.
Wake up, it's Christmas. Wake up, don't wanna miss this. Running down the stairs, don't really ever care. Wake up, it's Christmas. Wake up, don't wanna miss this.
Get those kiddos in here. This Bible verse is out of Luke, the book of Luke, which is in the New Testament, or the back half of the Bible, and it's called one of the Gospels with the story of Jesus' birth.
It's Christmas. Wake up, don't wanna miss this. Running down the stairs, don't really ever care. Wake up, it's Christmas.
Some little extra bells in the background as we get to the climax there.
Wake up, don't wanna miss this. Wake up, it's Christmas. Wake up, don't wanna miss this. Running down the stairs, don't really ever care. Wake up, it's Christmas. wake up, don't wanna miss this.
Messing up the presents got me sitting in the driver's seat.
And then we just kind of let it wash. Wake up, it's Christmas. That's what I'm talking about. So this is a ton of fun for a lot of reasons. I'm a huge fan of Blink-182, grew up listening to them. On top of that, really, really love Angels and Airwaves and 30 Seconds to Mars. And so the idea of making a punk pop Christmas song, you may think to yourself, wait a second, AVA and 30 Seconds to Mars, like, how does that translate to this song? Well, that's what we're about to get into. 2 things I love and 1 thing I want more of. The first thing I love about this song is the drums. I am not a drummer, and I'm not a drummer by trade. I'm not a drummer by nature. My rhythm is good, not great. So I typically record everything with a click just to make sure that I'm on time. Because when I do demos that I don't record with a click, there is a decided or marked difference in my timing and my structure. So when it came to Wake Up, It's Christmas, we started the song, and you're going to get a glimpse into almost every band that I love via this song. We start the song with this filter right here.
Wake up, it's Christmas.
Now listen to the drums in the background.
Wake up, don't wanna miss this.
Fake guitar fill. The filter itself, with the really strong drums that are just being choked the life out of them, that comes from a Trapped song called Headstrong. So it's a song from the early 2000s that's got that chorus that goes, back off, I'll take you on, headstrong to take on anyone, right? But in the beginning of the song, the drums are going full bore, but they are filtered out, they're choked. And I love that approach because it allows you to just open up, and it gives your ears something really cool to do. So the first thing I love is the drums to the track, and we're going to walk through a few more areas that I'm really fond of. But specifically, starting your songs with a chorus, I've mentioned many times on this show, is a good way to grab for engagement. And when you do that, you have a little bit more leniency with the first verse from your listener because you've already given them some hard-hitting chorus. So with just this little hint of Wake Up, It's Christmas,
It's Christmas.
it's got energy. You know the energy's there. It's just kind of faded. We'll use that synthesized guitar to fade us in and open us up, and boom.
Let's make it a day.
We take the EQ off the drums, which had been low passed, and they kind of explode onto the scene because all the high frequencies that give you all the crispiness are allowed to do their job at that point. So that choked part is really awesome. Then we come into the first verse, which has this driving kick in the jingle bells.
They're gonna talk about it for the rest of the year, ain't gonna be no doubt.
And you can even hear the claps come in there. Clap, clap. And that is just for some variation. We have the 2-bar rule.
There's something you got that's gonna make
So those
you
claps
cry.
come in. For variation, you have that 2-bar rule. So we have the driving kick, and in order to break up what might become monotonous, we add in the clap, clap to give your ear something to go, whoa, what was that? What? Your music is all about dynamics. It's all about keeping things moving, and this is a really fantastic way to do that. So in punk pop music, there is a lot of driving drum beats. They keep things moving. They give you a sense of urgency, and they slap, like velocities if you're using Logic, velocities at 129 all the time. Now, of course, that being said, you want to make sure things are humanized, and velocities are a really important part of that. So even though this is a steady kick on every beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Grab a glass of the nog and turn it upside down.
you'll notice slight variation on the kick. And the reason for that is because we humanize the velocity. So I could just jump onto my MIDI keyboard and kick, 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 kick on the drum machine every beat. And you know what? It works. It totally does, especially if the emotion is craziness. But if you don't have a great drum kit with lots of different samples at high velocity, you may start to get a little bit, the ear may start to get a little bit bored and the sample may start to get a little bit stale. So what we do is we humanize the velocity, which is to say that some of these kick hits are played a little less, with a little less force, and some with a little more force. And I actually use a process on Logic called humanize to randomize them within a specific amount of velocity. So it can be real subtle, but a lot of drum packs, if you're using a VST or a virtual instrument on your DAW, a lot of them will come with different samples at different velocities. So even though you believe you're hearing the same kick over and over and over again, you're actually hearing a drummer who created those samples produce a different hit, because a real drummer would not hit with the exact same force in the exact same spot every single time. So in order to recreate that and bring as much realism as possible without bringing in a real drummer, we humanize the velocity. So even though you hear goom, 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 you're actually hearing goom, 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 only played on time, just with different force with which the drummer hits the kick as I play it.
Gonna make you proud. Grab a glass of the nog and turn it upside down.
And of course, jingle bells. And I really struggled with the jingle bells, mostly because I knew I wanted them in there. They're a Christmas vibe. To me, they separate a Christmas song from a song. And we can all have varying opinions on that. And that is awesome. But to me, jingle bells separate a Christmas song from a song. So you will undoubtedly hear jingle bells in most, if not all, Christmas songs I release. Whether they are this prevalent or pervasive is entirely up to the track. Let's move ahead. Here we go. So we come into the pre-chorus, and I sent this song over to Glass Garden while I was creating it, and he was like, "Oh, wow, this is sounding pretty good." He said, "Have you thought about doing these two things?" The first of which was, during the pre-chorus, instead of just doing the kick and adding some snare to create variation, he said, play a bunch of tom fills, like almost like it's a Disturbed song. It really brings this rock feel and this punk feel to the track. So as we listen to the pre-chorus, you'll hear the driving kick, but you'll hear check it out.
Under the tree, oh, I'll miss you. Scout out Valvy. I'll miss you.
So we have those toms in there that are really bringing that pre-chorus to life. They're providing some low information when compared to the way that I'm singing, where my voice sits, where the kick sits. They provide this really great low, I guess you call it low mid frequency, like between 100 and 300. And then when you adjust the EQ to make it come in line with the kick drum, which has a little bit more slap on it, a little bit less and a little more they really sit together nicely, and it creates this really great, almost like Down with the Sickness. But yeah, it's great because my Christmas song this year is utilizing Trapped and Disturbed and Blink-182 as references, while all at the same time utilizing Owl City, Peppermint Winter, Humbug, Kiss Me Babe, It's Christmas, right? These are the things I grew up with, and these are the things that inform my music. And these drum patterns specifically, I wanted to hit pretty hard. So that filtered beginning, the driving kick in the verse where we talked about velocity, the pre-chorus with the drum fills, and then we move into the chorus, which is your drum snare with this second little bit of Glass Garden creative input, which is opening up the crash cymbals and just doing those on my hits to really fill out that drum space and make it just nasty.
I'll miss you,
And the cymbals are really washed and they're filling out that background space there. Not a drum expert, so wasn't quite sure how I wanted to mix that. I knew I didn't want the cymbals to be in your face, and I did want the snare to be in your face. So the snare is actually modeled more after... There's a movie called That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks, and the snare is actually more modeled after the song from that movie, That Thing You Do. Boom, ka-ka, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka-ka, boom, ka-ka, boom. Right? So I want that snare really in your face. And to do that, we actually use an EQ on the drum kit that I was using. And funny enough, BandLab Drum Machine came out like right after I finished this song. So I was like, come on, guys, I could have used that. We use an EQ to cut a little bit of the frequency where the kick sits, just a little bit, because the bass, the kick, and the snare were all just kind of sitting there. And I didn't want that low end to build up too much. But we added a lot of clarity. So I want to say it was around 3K on the EQ. It really gave that snare some drive and some slap, just some real power that just, it made it filthy. So that was how we did that.
Wake up, don't wanna miss this.
And of course, because I preach dynamics all the time, every 2 bars, something has to change, right? So we've got the do-do-dat, do-do-dat, do-do-dat. And when we go from the second bar into the next part of the chorus, where we're going to do-do-dat some more, we have a da-da-da-da-da, just to break up that variation. And then towards the end, we have a do-dat, do-dat, do-dat. Something different for the drums to do. It was the same thing the claps did to break up the monotony in verse 1, only this time it's for the chorus, and we're using the snare to do that. That's pretty much how the drums go in this song. And it's the first thing I love about it, because drums have been a real emphasis, or rather focus, for me towards the end of this year. I've been programming a lot more drums, and I feel like this is probably the most realism I've put into my drums. So huge shout out to Glass Garden for the creative input on those 2 situations that really took this from, in my opinion, being great to being an actual realization of my punk pop vision, really just due to those things. The second thing I love in here is the story we tell. When you come down to the lyrics, yes, we have this repetitive hook, wake up, it's Christmas, wake up, don't want to miss this. We even have that punk, bells are ringing. Sorry, it's 5 a.m., right? I can't do that right now. We even have that punk, like, back end of the hit, wake up, bells are ringing. And I stole that from Everything's Magic by Angels and Airwaves. Angels and Airwaves, in their I Empire album, they just go crazy with this kind of vocal layering where you've got your ambient, really drawn out notes that we're singing. And then you also have your punk, really quick hits, where everything is syncopated and more, wake up, it's Christmas. But then we draw it out, bells are ringing. And it's actually not just Angels and Airwaves. It calls to mind something that one of my college lit professors told me. When you're making sentence structure and creating sentence structure, and to tell a story, you can do whatever kind of structure you want, but you need to break up the monotony. Again, dynamics. So you can have a nice long run-on sentence, but then the next couple sentences should be real short and to the point. So the reader is like, whoa, 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 whoa. And you're always giving them something to do. To the point where we actually add the filter into the chorus, running down the stairs, don't really have a care, to give us a real Blink-182 vibe that sits on top of the Angels and Airwaves vibe that is really meshed together with this punk pop Christmas drums vibe. All of these influences come together to create this track. But the story we tell doesn't stop there. Of course, in verse 2, we have On Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen, right? This is kind of, verse 1 is sort of from the perspective of the family. Let's make this a day they're going to talk about for the rest of the year. If there's something you got that's going to make you frown, just grab a glass of eggnog, grab a glass of the nog, and turn that frown upside down, right? And then in chorus 2, we're Santa Claus. We're getting ready to go deliver presents on Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. And you know that I won't. And I cannot forget him. Red nose, and it glows. Get me Rudolph to lead them. I really struggled with the end of that verse because I wanted to incorporate Rudolph, but I'll be completely transparent. It was all about the rhyme for me. So we're getting this really great driving punk vibe. On Dasher, run Dancer, run Prancer, and Vixen, go Comet, go Cupid, go Donner, and Blitzen. So we really fudged the English language. I could not sit across from you and go, oh, you know that I won't and cannot forget him. Red nose, it glows. Give me Rudolph to lead them, right? That sounds kind of weird in conversation, but in a song, it fit the vibe, man. And so if something doesn't make total sense, you just look that person in the eye who told you that doesn't make any sense, and you say, it's my song, bro. I wrote it. I created it from nothing, from thin air. It makes sense because I said it did. But it went from being the line that gave me the most grief to being one of my favorite lines in the whole song. You know that I won't, cannot forget him. Red nose and it glows. Get me Rudolph to lead them. And then with that big swelled echo afterwards, get me Rudolph to lead them. And show me tasty milk and cookies because Santa, right? We continue that story. After that point, we've had the family's perspective. We've had Santa's perspective. Everyone is excited. Wake up, it's Christmas. Bells are ringing. Don't want to miss this. Passing out the presents got me sitting in the driver's seat. That may not make sense to a lot of people, but growing up for me, when you got to be the one that passed out the presents on Christmas morning that were under the tree, that was a big deal. It was a big responsibility. We all kind of sat in our designated areas in the living room, and that responsibility has now shifted from me to the kids and their uncle kind of passing out presents. And these are great traditions that you have. So this song is also, while it's a Blink-182 trapped, disturbed Angels and Airwaves 30 Seconds to Mars song, it's also a very personal story about my life experiences, but you wouldn't know it because it's hidden in a fun song. So don't forget, no matter how shallow music may sound, with something, a repetitive hook like wake up, it's Christmas, the same way that your kids wake you up, wake up, it's Christmas. Passing out the presents, got me sitting in a driver's seat is a deeply personal line, and I love it. I very much love it. Then we come to the bridge. This is my favorite part. This story takes a turn. When I recorded this demo, I recorded it as just me. And in fact, I sent it off to a producer who owns Studio 57 in Washington, the Seattle area. And I was like, hey, check it out. I put together a Christmas song and the demo was just me. And then I actually thought about this guy who's kind of been like a mentor to me in music. And he incorporates kids into his Christmas stuff all the time, brings them into the studio, they sing into the mic, and then he just kind of fixes it all up. And so while the kids aren't professional singers, it doesn't matter because we have tools that I completely abused, like Melodyne, where I could make all of their notes go exactly where I wanted them to without making them perfect so that they sound like robots. So the kids, when they sing, they have the general idea and concept of pitch and range and timing, but we don't take away any of the humanity where, you know, a kid would do his own thing their own thing at a concert. And that was a ton of fun for me and kind of a challenge. But I brought both the kids into the lab, into the studio. They sang their part each 3 times. I sang a couple that were way up high, brought mine way back, and then used Melodyne to fix their pitch in some parts and used Vocaline Ultra to line everything up and make sure that they were on time with me rather than splicing and slicing up the vocals. It was just the click of a button, and Vocaline was able to do that. When we come towards the end of the bridge here, we have this Luke 2, verse 9 through 11. I just notated in here that it's from the New King James Version of the Bible. And it says, "And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were greatly afraid. Then the angel said to them, 'Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people.'" Regardless of how you feel about God and about this season and what it means, to me, that's a very important part of my life. I mean, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Without him, I would not be who I am today, and I'd be a dead man. So there is truly nothing that I love doing more in my music than sprinkling some Jesus in there, because we all need love, we all need mercy, we all need grace. And this is a really not only great way to do that, but it also harkens back to another Christmas memory of the Charlie Brown Christmas specials, where you have Linus reading the Christmas story during the Christmas special. So having the Bible verse in there was, for me, first and foremost, to give God the glory, because he deserves the glory. And then secondly, it was designed to evoke the Charlie Brown base. So now we have punk pop, we have rock, we have alt rock, and we have Charlie Brown, as well as my kids. So choral as well. And that's the story of Wake Up, It's Christmas. The first thing I love is those drums. I'm really proud of them. The second thing I love is the story, with verse 1 being from the family, verse 2 being from Santa, the hook being not only catchy, but full of peppered in with a lot of little personal experiences. And then being able to incorporate my kids and give God the glory it's how I like it, right? So I wrote this track for the Cozy Christmas contest, but also as my BandLab Gives Back entry. Good luck to everyone out there for BandLab Gives Back. If there were one thing I want more of in this track, I would probably want more harmonies. We got to the point in the recording where I just liked how it sounded, and so it was finished. There's a lot of people ask me, "Hey, how do you know when your song is done?" And I don't. To me, a song will never be done. It takes me almost a year to release a song with people sometimes. Grandma can tell you, like all day long. It takes like a year. Glass Garden can tell you. And that's because I'm never done with the song. In fact, a lot of times my demo vocals become the majority of my final vocals, because it just doesn't get much better than that. A lot of times the emotion you feel when you first come up with something is the best emotion. So I don't really think my songs are ever done. And I liked this, and I ran out of time, and so many things came together to create a finished track. If I had a little more time, and I could really focus myself in and say, hey, you have one more week and that's it, I would add more harmonies to the choruses specifically to set them apart, but maybe little flourishes here and there. I think that's the one thing I want more of, because I'm a harmony fiend. I used to sing on a karaoke app called Smule, and one of the main things I do is go into someone's recording and just add harmonies to it. It's a ton of fun. It's something you do a lot as a backup singer, which I have been for a very long time. And harmonies, man, that's what I'm saying. So that's Wake Up, It's Christmas, featuring the Tatious Kiddos, released earlier this month on December 6th. We're coming up on Christmas, currently 71 loves and 700 plays. Really appreciate all that you guys have poured into this track, because now you can tell how deeply personal this track is for me and what influences are there and why. Man, I'm in love with this song. For everything, the culmination of all the things that I love about music that's put in here. So make sure that you come on over, take a listen to Wake Up, It's Christmas, featuring the Tatious Kiddos. Leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you'd like to see more of. Is this the kind of music that I should keep doing? Do you want to see a different genre from me? Let me know. I'm here for that. In the meantime, make sure you follow DJ Tatious on YouTube, BandLab, or wherever you choose to consume your social media. I appreciate you taking the time to wake up, wind up, and queue up with me in this busy season of life, but also this joyous season. I hope that your Christmas holiday is relaxing And just a quick note, we will not be here next Monday. That is Christmas. I will be spending time with my family, and we will see you again the following week. So until then, stay safe, be relaxed. Merry Christmas.